Call this meeting to order, 10 a.m.
Mr. Bucket.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. King.
Here.
There's one.
As you wish, please stand for the pledge and invocation. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk.
Father God, we come to you today humbled and grateful for all the things that you've given us in our lives, our health, our families, our careers. We ask your blessing upon us. We ask your blessing upon the decisions that are made here today. We know that with you, we can do no wrong. We ask this in your Son's name, Jesus Christ, our Lord.
Amen. Consent agenda is on the board and has been published. Motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. And that sales tax report, I gave that report last week, so it's just now getting to the consent agenda. Seal bid opening, do we have seal bids for the road striping? We have none, so they've all been opened already. So, anyway, moving along. And so now I guess you go shopping and find somebody who will work and you'll take care of it. Are there several companies that do that work?
Several.
Okay. Okay, now we have a clarification of road status. Last week we did that. We used the minutes from April 5th of 2010 to update the agreement on those 4 roads listed there. And that's not accepting new roads, it's just clarifying the maintenance agreement. Since then, it's come to light that on April 20th of the same year, they added 6 more roads, and we need to do those roads. So basically, it's just, those 6 roads is not new county roads, we're just changing the maintenance agreement on these existing county roads. I have a motion to do this.
I'll make a motion that we accept the amended minutes, added 6 roads to this agreement.
And I guess we need to name those roads: Whitetail Lane, Maple Hill, Dole Lane, Ridgetop Drive, Timber Lane, and
Fawn
Circle Drive. Okay. Second?
Yeah, well, can I ask a question?
Sure.
This agreement was separate from the other agreement?
It is. If you go back to slide 1, Sunset Court, Hillcrest Drive, which Ridgewood Hills Drive are not part of the Ridgetop area. They're different parts of the county. So if you look at the 4th one where it says Ridgetop Road, the minutes of April 20th should have went with the 4th one. And that's why they were amended the first time, because all 6 roads were not listed originally in the minutes.
But these were all under that partial maintenance.
Partial?
agreement. Yes.
Well, not Ridgewood Hills Drive or Hillcrest or Sunset, just Ridgetop Road. The top 3 are fully maintained county roads and are on the CART list. The bottom one was the partially maintained county road. So they went back and amended the minutes 3 weeks later to add the 6 roads as partially maintenance roads to go with the Ridgetop Road.
Okay.
So
we're
that's
taking-
what our clarification is those 6 roads, like Mark caught the other day, those are gonna be fully maintained county roads.
It was Mark Sharp Eye that caught that.
Thank you, Mark Sharp.
Now, did I get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Now, any questions? Yes, Louis.
So, this now goes to full maintenance, which will include snow removal and mowing.
Correct.
And John, we have been doing that.
We've helped the city a little bit because it's a very steep hill, and they have a hard time doing it, so we usually use our grader with chains on them to get to the top.
Okay.
So basically no different what we did.
Not really, and there's not a lot of mowing up there. All the houses usually keep the front of the yards manicured. There's a little bit, it won't be much.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, equipment support agreement, collector, Pam, you wanna talk about this? There you go.
Okay, we bought 2 money counters for the office, and this is a maintenance agreement on those 2 money counters. It's $1,170, and we're asking for approval for that, and we can sign that contract
read that, 585 apiece or something like that.
Yes.
Does that include the purchase of those, or?
No.
No, okay.
No, we
The
already-
contract wasn't real clear on
Okay, no, we already purchased them. It's just to maintain them, they'll come down and clean them and make sure they're calibrated correctly and everything
Okay.
for us.
that. Okay. And you told me that these are really helpful.
Oh, they're great. These money counters, you can put $100 bills, $50 bills, $1 bills, all mixed up. It'll sort them, it'll count them, and we've got little printers, and it'll print out how much of each one you've got.
So if I mix some of my better money on with that, it'll get that.
It'll catch that if it's bad.
So, and does it print out anything? Do you get a printout?
We've got a little printer, and it prints out how many ones, how many tens, how many 20s,
Okay.
and it gives a total.
So you can give the customer receipt on what he gave you?
Well, we could, but we get him a paper receipt with his taxes.
Okay.
We keep those for us. We have one in the front and one in the back, so when we balance for the day, when we have a lot of cash, we can just put it all in there and it totals it out for us, and we don't have to go through and count every single bill.
Okay. Now, if we, for some reason, don't accept this, what would you do then? How,
We would have to call them like the beginning of tax season and have them come down, and we would be paying for that.
Okay.
And the cost of that is more expensive than the maintenance on it.
how long have you had these?
About 2 months.
Okay, so they're new.
They're still under warranty right now, so this would be taking effect, I think in a month or so.
Okay, this is a one-year deal.
Yes.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept this agreement?
I make a motion, we accept the equipment support agreement for the collector at the total annual cost of $1,170 for the 2 months. Or annual, yeah, annual, 1 year.
Okay, sorry, second?
I'll second that.
Questions? Yeah, Rich?
When does the warranty expire?
And it has a 90-day on it.
Thank you.
Bob?
Is this is an annual cost, in other words, next budget year, we might do this again?
Yes.
Is that, so if this is just 1 year?
This is just for 1 year.
It's not on an annual basis, not January 1 to January 1. It's got some mid-year dates on it. I guess that's when the warranty word goes out. This is when.
Right, when the 90 days goes out, then we will start.
But we would budget for the year for that amount. Any other questions? Yes,
Just out of
Mark.
curiosity, are most people paying with cash or, check, or is it just kind of
We have a lot pay with credit card,
Credit
and we have a lot pay with cash.
I was just curious if we're seeing people come in with still come in with cash to pay very often, or?
Well, we have a few bad checks, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious on that.
Yeah, we still have a lot of people coming with cash.
The credit cards, do we charge extra for the credit cards?
The company does our credit card program, and they charge 2.4%. And I know you probably see around town and stuff where businesses like restaurants and stuff are starting to charge that on top of your bill if you use your card.
And it's usually higher than that. I think you have a special deal on it.
We've got the 2.4, and we're getting ready to switch to the auto agent, and they also have a 2.4. So it is cheaper than.
So I could pay my real estate taxes with a credit card
You pay real estate,
and
personal
take my
property.
2% back from my credit card. And I get it rather than.
But if you only have a $12 limit on your credit card. Problem.
I'm serious, this is
Yeah.
Okay.
crazy.
I was talking to Pam about another topic entirely, and I said something about not accepting cash. And I found out that a lot of people don't have checking accounts and don't have credit cards, and they have to pay for it. So I've learned in our discussions, I've learned a little bit there too, so.
This money machine, if I get, they think they're getting us back by getting mad at you and coming in with a bunch of coins. This will take coins
It
also.
doesn't take coins.
Oh, man, okay. What if they come in with coins, what do I gotta do?
We send them to the bank and get.
There you go. Sorry.
Yeah.
The bank has a machine.
Like I was like.
We did have somebody a long time ago that got mad at us and brought in like 2,000 ones.
Oh.
So,
Dan?
Pam, if, another office orders, we need to use that if it's available, where sometimes we get large funds, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in cash, and I know the treasurer doesn't particularly like handling all that money, but,
Sure,
can we bring it over there and run it through?
absolutely.
That is with the small
There's
fee.
nothing smelly money.
2.4.
Can't have the drug dog there.
No, when you sit in a vault for 2 years.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Ben. Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, ADA grievance procedure, Bridget, is she here? Yeah, Bridget, do you want to talk about this, or? It's just, an agreement. Bridget doesn't want to talk about it, so correct me when I go wrong here. It's, an agreement that, we will do everything ADA rules, which we try to do anyway, but this is on that TAP grant and the sidewalk situation.
Most of your federal grants, they have this standard boilerplate language that you have to have these things. You're gonna see more of these because they keep putting more and more rules and strings on it saying you have to do this. Even if it doesn't pertain to you, you still have to adopt the policy in case somebody would wanna make an ADA complaint.
Right, so this would be just the grievance procedure that the county is accepting to use. And it's gonna be good for both of the CDBG ones, along with the TAP grant that we're working on right now, so.
So the MAC grant, all those.
Correct, yeah. I had originally prepared all this for that one, but since that one's on hold, we hadn't went through with it, but yeah, it needs to be done.
So this is, as he says, it's boilerplate stuff. Rich?
Right.
What does TAP stand for?
Transportation Alternative Program. It's to get people to walk and ride their bicycles and that kind of thing.
They're starting to put this on almost all federal, anything with federal funds attached is saying you must have these things in place.
Okay. Hey, Bob, I don't have the motions yet, but Bob?
Bridget said something that, CDBG also requires this. This, is only for, TAP grant. Do we already have one for CDBG, or do we need to add?
By the way,
it?
CDBG is Community Development Block Grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
This grievance procedure is for the county. It's not necessarily for a grant. It's what the county is accepting as a procedure. So if someone here had an ADA grievance, then these are the procedures that we would have to do.
I guess what my concern is that this appears to be for a TAP grant only.
It will
You're saying the county-
qualify for anything. It will put us in compliance with the ADA process, which a lot of the federal money says you have to have an ADA process. So no matter in the future, as long as we've got this, we can check that off. Yes, we have an ADA compliance. So-
Actually, it is misworded. It should have read ADA grievance procedure for St. Francis County.
Not just the
And then
TAP grant.
And the TAP is added on to
I was
it.
just double checking the, agenda, and it says, item 4 is ADA grievance procedure. That's in the
Right.
statute.
Okay.
That is my wording, and I'm probably incorrect, okay. Okay.
Which is needed
Now,
for
let me
the
go,
fact-
let me get a motion in a second.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the ADA grievance procedure for St. Francis County. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
Now, are there any more questions or comments?
It needs to be added into your policy manual.
Good point. Yeah. And it, I guess it's not there.
We
now.
do have one in there.
Okay, we do have it?
Mhm.
Okay. So this.
I haven't seen this one, so I don't know how it compares.
Okay,
But
well, we
do
have a copy of it here. Okay, now, with no more questions or comments, I'll take a vote. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. That's all the business I have. Okay, there's, next week, here we are. And other possible business, correspondence, public comments.
Do we have equalization meeting today?
No. We are equal.
There's been no,
We're done.
departmental reports.
I got a couple things here, just general knowledge. People have asked me about votes. As of this morning at 10 o'clock, 70 people have walked in and voted. We've mailed out 364 ballots, 100 of which 138 have come back in. To give you an idea, because we've never talked about this, we get them from different sources. One, we have a list that people have filed that they always want to be on it because they're disabled or they're homebound or whatever. And we send them out a notice saying, do you want to vote in this yet? And then we've had a couple online through our website, request ballots, nursing homes, relatives come in email, we had two that were emailed the request, they have to follow the same rules, they have to prove who they are and everything else, but that's, I just thought that you might find that's where the requests are coming in. So you got a friend, or you wanna email, you wanna get, we will try to reach out then and go through the procedure. So that's where we're voting. With 3 weeks to go from today, we have 212 total votes that have received. We did the assessed valuation that you approved.
I've got a slide to that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So you wanna show that up, because I've also compared it to year to date rather than, we have two figures, one at the fiscal year end, June 30th, or not, might not be fiscal year end, but that's when they compare it, and then when it completely.
Well, let's talk about that one slide.
When it completely settles, so it's
All right,
different.
Dan, you had something?
Just wanted to, make mention Friday, we had our annual Shoppers Cup golf tournament. Several people, several were out there playing, Gator, and
I know I didn't do
had
well.
a tremendous time. We ended up, after we paid the bills, probably raised about $11,000 that day. Our biggest, one contributor to Shoppers Cup we have every year. We appreciate you guys coming out and playing with us, Nick was out there.
And the vast majority that played are from St. Louis, and they're
Yes.
kind enough to come down. I saw a couple of my old cohorts from the Capitol, but they came down. You had about 20 teams from out of the area, which I thought, and people helped run the tournament, and they've been doing this for how many years?
Since about 12 years, 12, 13 years.
Sponsors of the tournament, they come down and they put the whole thing on. They have 20 teams. We add on 3 or 4 teams here locally and make real good money, and they surely don't have to, because none of them live here in this county.
No, this is their fundraiser they have every year. Businessmen, ball players, Tom Greggy, world-class soccer player, played with Pele, if you know who that is. We've had players from the Mets, from the Cubs, from the Cardinals, all kinds of different professional ball players, football, hockey, everybody come down over the years to play with. Jack Buck was there.
A lot of CBC alumni, if you know
Yes.
CBC, okay, the guys from CBC, there was like 40-something guys from CBC. They're all, Joe Kevney and Cantwell, that comes here with Big River, all those guys were in those same classes, and they're just nice enough to come down and sponsor this tournament, which is very good.
Okay.
Great, we appreciate it, and we made a lot of money, had a good time. Not going back anymore, and I'll tell you what, I got a friend named Juan, he was over there, and Kevin come by me when he was leaving, he said, I got a hold of Juan, so I'm not going back anymore. Killed my buddy.
And credit should be given to Steve Carr and Jim Hart. They initially brought this group all together.
Yes.
Because
Hart was there the other day.
this group normally would play a weekend of golf there. And Steve Carr and Hart found out about these guys and said, why don't you get together with Shop with the Cop and see what happens? And that's how it all came together.
That's how it started.
Yeah.
And most of them stayed over you're talking about for tourism and money. They go out and then they play again Saturday. They stay all night, just play for fun Saturday. But it filled up that hotel, and I know some of the restaurants and stuff in town benefited. It was good.
So did the liquor stores.
I would imagine.
Good time for that, pal.
I didn't drink any, so, you know.
Yeah, departmental report.
I didn't catch
You didn't catch it.
Okay, moving right along on the bridge, it's coming along well, and I'm sure it's advanced since this picture.
It has, they've started blocking the ends in, forming up the deck on top.
I went out on Saturday because when I go out, the work usually stops. For one thing, I don't have the colors on, and the rule is if you show up without colors, you're not supposed to operate equipment. And then the other thing, everybody wants to talk to me, so I just go when I know they're not out there and take the picture.
John, when is it scheduled to be complete?
Into August. They had 150 days, but it's ahead of schedule right now. We've had pretty good weather.
Yeah, thank
There's a
you.
lot of-
They don't want to advertise that, but it's kind of where we're at.
John, how long were those beams?
110 feet.
Yeah, if you look at them, see those big beams there, there's 4 of them, right?
There's
Yeah.
4.
Them's the ones that come through Farmington, and they help to get those beams out.
One per truck.
On the truck.
And they were made in Bonter.
Those were made in Bonter.
Okay. I just, have an idea that maybe this should be in our county seal.
Oh,
That's interesting.
This, I've seen the truck in Farmington, it's a plumber's truck, and so the guys enjoy it, obviously. Moving along, okay, Kevin, here's your assessment, Kevin. Kevin?
Yeah, I got you. Looking at the numbers. The thing that you may look at here is, and we are changing that one title that nobody uses, typically handicapped anymore, it's disabled. We're changing, notice that on there this year. But if you look at June 29th, we are up from, there's two figures, one June 29th, and then we do the final, which is when everything's settled, comes in at the end. I'd like to compare apples to apples. So the June of last year, we're up about 47, Eric, correct me wrong, the bottom line here is you're up about 47 million, which is about 5.4% in real estate taxes. Now that really affects our road district, and it affects a lot of those other mineral area. College, ours, because of our sales tax increasing, doesn't affect us that much because we're currently at 2.5 cents, and we may roll back to around 0 after we figure that out, and that happens in August. So even though we're up about 5.2% in our real estate taxes, and that's the thing to look at. The other thing, personal property, have you made a decision on how you're going to evaluate personal property on cars?
No, not
Really a weird situation, and you're going to all hear about it. Always your car values go down, so your personal property tax goes down with that value. This year, used cars are up about 40%. So do you go to somebody that's got a used car and say you need to pay more real estate, personal property tax, because the value of your used car, even though you're not selling it, has went up 35% according to the standards? Or do you use last year's figures? I know several of the counties are grappling with that, and we have to come up with something fair, because that, as soon as the auto supply in the market happens within a month, because it's a trailing almost 6 months deal, as soon as the supply comes up, and time you get your tax return, tax things in October, November, your value of your vehicle may be down below what it was when you bought it last year. So that thing is a lot more volatility than the real estate tax.
Kevin, let's also remember that our share of the taxes for the county is really pretty low, and St. Charles County has implemented a relief to their populace, but they're talking $24 a year, which is what each resident would save because of this. And to your point, for those of us who have several cars, we're going to be stuck biting a bullet this year.
Well, that's what Eric's going to have to figure out. There's several in his industry, several methods that people are using, and they're trying to test the legality of how doing that. I'm sure that our assessor will try to be as fair as possible, but if you bought a used car, my son-in-law bought a truck, it's worth 20-something thousand more, but by the time he gets his taxes in December, it could be, all the cars are back on the market, it could be worth less than what he paid for it again. So that's a tough target to hit. But things are looking good for us, especially our real new assessments. Not a lot of commercial. We're looking at the breakdown. Just a lot of residential home developments that people are still building at $250 a square foot. They're still building houses out there, and I don't know how much with the interest rates going up, because if you take a $500,000 house, which is the houses that are being built right now, are better. An extra 2% interest on your mortgage is $1,000 more a month on a typical. So that tends to slow down real estate pretty quick on those $500,000, $700,000 houses. Just because the interest rate have to pay $1,000 more every month for the life of your mortgage. So we don't know how that's going to affect her, but residential is growing, and it's growing at a real good clip. We have not had a lot of big commercial builds, as you all know, but that's kind of where that is. I've got all the individual breakdowns of last year's and this year's, and where we're at. We try to look at trends. and then we'll be using our sales tax to figure out how much we roll back our real estate taxes. So, as Rich points out, the schools are making, well, even the college, does anybody know what the percentage the college takes? It's like 40, 50 cents or something like that. We're at two.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And
Well, the two schools, in my case, Farmington School and Mac,
Together.
get about 90% of my total tax.
it's 90% of your taxes.
88 to 90% of the total tax. In my case.
I have two questions. We post this on the website, the county website.
Happy to. Now, what would you like posted though? I mean, you want
Well,
the
those
actual,
little
no,
ones.
the actual, after everything settles out in a month and a half? Or do you want
Well,
the, I like looking at exactly where it was last year versus this year,
Right.
because I don't know how much more is gonna come in, but I'd be happy to put whatever, I could put we could put all three, we could put, evaluation as of June 30th, 21, June 30th, 22, and final of 21. I mean, that's all we got right now.
On the website, you're not paying for publication costs, so we can put them all.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that.
my second question is, to Eric, do you not have a drop dead date on assessments? I mean, isn't there, or is it just end of the year?
For personal property,
Uh-huh.
if we take assessment list until the collector is ready to print her books.
Oh, okay, so there's not a specific date.
And it's usually first of October.
Okay.
But they set, usually, in the past, they used the figures as of what? There's some, you typically base the price of the cars on what?
Oh, they do that in October of 21.
See, that's what I'm saying.
22.
And that's almost the height of the used car market, and I just think
Right,
that's.
there could be a lot of value change between
Oh, yeah.
October of 21 and when you get your bill.
On $50,000 car and $40,000 used car, they could be a lot. So that's, but to your point, they strike that thing 6 months ago and said this is what
Well,
that
it's no
value
different
is.
than when they put out the COLA in October for next year,
Yeah, guessing.
so.
So they're trying to figure out, your association, correct me, is trying to figure out what is legally acceptable to use as your, in the past, they
the
always
school-
just used that.
The school doesn't have to roll back for personal property. You know how real estate, they roll back the levy, they don't have to for personal.
But they don't have to roll back, but they use your evaluation, right? That's the thing that's gonna be interesting, is where do you put that on the target?
Right.
You know, is it last October? Is it gonna be the day before she puts her, you hope that the values are gonna go down, or is there something other legally you can use? Because that's gonna be a huge hit for people.
Kevin, for this year, there's no winner in this.
Huh?
You know, nobody's gonna be happy.
No.
But there's no choice either.
No, you've gotta have it reflect reality, but if you're not selling your car, and
Okay, well, is there any,
That's
are
a
there
good
any more
part.
departmental reports?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank y'all.